Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you are all doing well and you are safe and sound with your family members. Dear students, in previous class we talked about WH question words. I hope you understood and I hope you benefited from the lecture that I recorded. It was week number 6. And I also hope that you have done the exercises on pages 17 and 19. Okay, so today in this tutorial, in this video, we will be studying present continuous tense and present perfect continuous tense as all usages. So the exercises for present simple tense are on page 29, 23, 27 and up to 25 to 27. So these are the exercises pages. You can do the exercises right there on those pages that I just mentioned. Okay, so let's get started with the present continuous tense. So the first tense that we will be studying today is present continuous tense. So let's get started there, students. So let's take on with it. Okay, so present continuous tense, it's also called present progressive tense. So some people call it present continuous tense and some people call it present progressive tense. So no, it's not a big deal whether you call it present continuous tense or present progressive tense. Both names are acceptable for this. It has two names. So let's talk about namely explanation that why do we call it present. Why do you call it present? Because it's in the family of present. That's why we call it present tense. And why do we call continuous? Because it's in the family. Because it shows the duration of an action. If anyone asks you that why do we use present continuous tense and why do we call it present? Why do you call it present? It's in the present family, and therefore we call it present. Why do we call continuous? It's because it shows the duration of an action. It focuses on the continuation of an action. One of the main differences with other tenses is that continuous tense all continuous tenses, they focus on the continuation of an action. They focus on the continuity, that for how long an action was continued, or for how long an action will be continued, and for how long an action is continuing. So what do you call tense? We define tense that tense is a form of a verb which indicate the function of a verb related to time. So tense is what? Tense is a function. It's a form of verb which shows the time of an action regarding the tense. Okay, we define tense in so many different ways. So I will define one of the easiest definition that we can say, that tense is a form of the verb which shows function of the verb related to time. Tense is the form of a verb which shows the time of an action related to time. Okay. Now it's also called present progressive tense. As I said, that progressive also means continuous, and tense, I said, that form of a verb which shows time of an action regard. Okay. And structures. Now how do you make present continuous tense? Like, what are the structures to make present continuous tense? So one of the affirmative structures of present continuous tense is subject, to be, plus verb, plus to be verbs, plus verb ing plus complement. And the negative structure for present continuous tense is subject plus to be, verbs plus not, plus verb ing plus complement. Positive interrogative structure for present continuous tense we have is positive structure. We have to be verbs plus subject plus verb ing plus complement. And then you say negative interrogative structure of present continuous tense is to be verbs plus subject plus not plus verb ing plus complement. And remember that why do we use subject? Without subject we cannot make a sentence. If it is any sentence, there should be subject. Without subject we cannot make a tense. شاگردان عزیز از کسی استان سوال کنند که چرا ما فاعل استفاده میکنیم، برشان بسیار به طور ساده جواب بدین که بدون سابجکت ما جمله را درست کرده نمیتونیم. هر قسم جمله که باشه باید اونجا سابجکت یعنی فاعل وجود داشته باشه. دومین کیس to be verbs. To be verbs چرا استفاده میکنیم؟ Why do we use to be verbs؟ که اینجا is am are to be verb استفاده میشه در present continuous tense. چرا استفاده میکنیم؟ بدون present to be verb ما نمیتونیم که continuous tense بسازیم و بدون البته verb ing را استفاده کنیم و بدون verb ing ما شما نمیتونیم که continuous tense را بسازیم. So without verb ing we cannot form a continuous tense. So to be verbs are the helping verbs of present continuous tense. To be verb که هستن افعال کمکی present continuous tense هستن. Okay, verb ing که است that's the present participle or fourth form of the verb. Verb ing که است present participle یا fourth form of the verb است. Now, why do we use complement, and what's complement? We say that complement is taken from the word complementator, which means the filler. So we define complement this way, that words or expressions which are put together to complete the meaning of the sentence is called complement. So this is one definition that we give it to the complement. Now let's talk about the negative structure. Only not is added here. As I said, that the helping verbs of present continuous tense are verbs to be verbs like is, am, are. So with is, am, are we use not. Not, according to grammar, it's a negation adverb. What is it? It's a negation adverb. It changes positive sentence into negative. Whenever you want to change a positive sentence into negative, you have to add not with it. Not is a negation adverb. And verb ing, as I said before, in complement, similar. Now the same thing, the structure, we change the position of to be verbs in positive interrogative. We use it at the beginning of the sentence, and the sentence is changed from positive into interrogative. Now come to the to be verb negative interrogative structure. As you can see, that to be verbs are used in the beginning of the sentence, right? To be verbs are used where? In the beginning of the sentences. So now let's go through some of the examples, and then I'll give you example how we change a positive sentence of to be how to make positive sentence, and then how do we change it to from positive into interrogative. Okay, so let's go through the word file so that we can practice some more examples for this tense. Okay, first let's make a positive sentence, affirmative sentence. For example, I say he is, I'll give you a very simple sentence. He is reciting, he's reciting the Holy Quran. He's reciting the Holy Quran. He's reciting the Holy Quran. Now you can see that he is the subject of the sentence, is to be a verb, recite is a verb, and ing is the ing. So altogether becomes a verb ing. And the Holy Quran is a complement. Now this is a positive sentence. What is it? It's an affirmative, or it's a positive sentence. What sentence is this, dear students? It's a positive sentence. Now if you want to change it to negative, I said that just add not with it. The structure is subject plus to be plus not plus verb ing plus complement. That's the structure. Okay, so now we say he is not. So the full form is not. Okay, so full form is what? Not. And the contracted form is what? Isn't. So he is not or isn't what? Verb ing, reciting the Holy Quran. You see this? Now this is negative structure. You can just check this out. Here we used not, right? Now what structure is the what sentence is this? It's a negative one. Sorry, I'll just put here negative structure. Like it states something in a negative way, negative structure of present continuous tense. Now what's the positive interrogative? We have two kinds of interrogative. One is negative interrogative, other is positive interrogative. So first let's see the positive interrogative structure we have is a sub to be verbs plus subject plus verb ing plus complement. So I say is he reciting the Holy Quran? Is he reciting the Holy Quran? So at the end it should be question mark. If the answer is affirmative, you should say yes, comma, he is. If the answer is negative, then you should say no, he isn't. Right? Now this is okay. That's a positive affirmative. Now let's talk about the negative. Sorry, that's positive interrogative. Now let's talk about the negative interrogative. So negative interrogative we have is there are two structures, two examples. We say the formal one is he. The formative negative interrogative structure is he not reciting the Holy Quran? Is he not reciting the Holy Quran? Oh. See, this is formal one. It's a positive, it's a negative. What? Let me just say negative interrogative. What type of? Positive, right? Negative interrogative. Sorry, this one is positive interrogative, and this one is negative interrogative. Now you see the informal one. This is formal one. It's a formal. It's formal. What's the informal one? We say is he, like sorry, is not or isn't he reciting the Holy Quran? Now this one is also, but this is informal. Negative interrogative, but what? It's informal. The difference is here, not is used after subject, in here not is used before subject. That's the only difference. I hope you understood on how to make a sentence in present continuous tense. I hope you learned how to make a sentence. If you have any question regarding the structures, you are most welcome to ask. Now the second thing we're going to study is the explanatorial stage of the tense, which is usages of tenses. I mean, the why do we use a tense? We answered the first W question word, how do you make a tense, and now we are going to answer the why do we make it and why do we use a tense. So let's go through some of the structures, some of the usages of present continuous tense. So the first we have is it shows an action. The first usage, استعمال أولش هسته. We have it shows an action which is happening at the moment of speaking. It shows an action which is happening at the moment of speaking. This is one is enough. Or to say it started in the present past, is continuing at the present, and will probably end at some point in the future. Very simple definition. شاگردان عزیز استعمال اول present continuous tense زمان حال جاری است. این است که it shows an action. یه به ما یک عمل نشان میدهد، right؟ که در حال در جریان باشه. مثلا حال ما صحبت میکنم، هر وقت که شما در مورد یک عمل صحبت میکنین که در حال جریان باشه، بهتر است که اونجا present continuous tense را استفاده کنین، یعنی زمان حال جاری را استفاده کنین. For example، به طور مثال ما میگیم که she is studying English language now. She is studying English language now. همیال اون زبان انگلیسی را میخواند، یعنی مصروف است. این عمل فعلا جریان داره. هر وقت که شما در مورد یک عمل صحبت میکنین که در حال در جریان باشه یا حال واقع میشه، این وقت باید شما present continuous tense را استفاده کنین. Now you can see the other one. We are preparing dinner for the guests. We are preparing dinner for the guests. For example, you ask me a question and you tell me, what are you doing? And I say, we are preparing dinner for the guests. So it means that we are busy and we are engaged in now preparing dinner for the guests. So whenever you are talking about, whenever something is happening at the moment of speaking, or something is happening right now, so we better use present continuous tense for such actions. For example, I say I am teaching you present continuous tense now, or she is listening to music right now, or they are playing on the ground right now. So there are many other usages of present continuous tense. We will go one by one. The next usage we have is it shows more general or present. It shows an action which is not happening at the time of speaking but around the time of speaking. شاگردان عزیز این ما یک عمل عمومی را حال نشان میده، یعنی عملی که در جریان صحبت‌های ما واقع نمیشه اما در چهار اطرافش واقع میشه. Right? For example, مثلا example we say I am writing a book about the history of Afghanistan. یعنی این کار خب من فعلا انجام نمیتونم، اما در این کار که است من مصروف هستم. وقتی که شما در کدام کار مصروف باشین، حالان که یعنی ممکن حال او کار انجام نمیدین اما یعنی به یک چک وقت شاید وقفه کرده باشین، وقت ما مثلا بسیار ساده حالی ما یک کتاب نوشته میکنم، درسته؟ در بیرون ما از ما کسی سوال میکنه که حالا در این روزا چی مصروف هستی، من برش میگم که کتاب نوشته میکنم. وقت من نوشته نمیکنم، مثلا وقتی که ما گپ میزنیم در وقت یک عمل واقع نمیشه اما ما روان هستم، حالا که یک به خاطر چند دقیقه شاید ما وقفه کرده باشم، خب باز هم عمل در جریان است. مثلا ما میگیم که where is Ahmad, what is Ahmad doing nowadays. احمد در این روزا چی میکنه؟ میگه که he's building a house for himself. He is building a house for himself. حالی که از به خود یک خانه میسازه. فعلا شاید در جریان نباشه او، اما کارش جریان داشته باشه. در the moment of speaking در وقت صحبت‌های ما عمل واقع شاید نشده باشه اما در چهار اطرافش واقع بشه، شروع باشه. Right? Second one, he's building a house on Kabul Road. See, he's building what? He's building a house on Kabul Road. او که سر سرک کابل چی میکنه؟ یک خانه میسازه. So it also shows that هر وقت شاگردان از مختصر میگیم که هر وقت شما در مورد یک عمل صحبت میکنین که فعلا در جریان صحبت های ما واقع نمیشه اما در جهت اطرافش واقع میشه. هرگاه که شما در مورد یک عمل صحبت میکنین که در جریان ما واقع نباشه یا در جریان صحبت های ما واقع نمیشه، حالا واقع نمیشه اما در جهت اطرافش جریان داره و واقع شده رایسته. با این قسم عمل ها ما و شما present continuous tense یا حالی یعنی زمان حال جاری را استفاده میکنیم. Now that was second. The third usage of present continuous tense is استعمال سوم present continuous tense که است shows an action which has already been arranged in the past to take place in the future. این میگه time table action هم میگن که دی ما future time expression را استفاده میکنیم. It shows an action با ما یک عمل نشان میدهد which has already been arranged in the past که در ماضی یا در گذشته ترتیب شده است اما واقع در چی وقت میشه؟ واقع در مستقبل یا در آینده میشه. در وقت که شما در مورد عمل ها صحبت میکنین که در حال تصمیم گیری برش شده، در حال ترتیب شده است اما واقع در آینده میشه، یعنی در مستقبل واقع میشه. یاد داشته باشین که remember the students note, I'll give you note this, keep this in mind, bear in mind that in this usage of present continuous tense we use the future time expressions. Whenever an action is arranged in the present, whenever an action is set in the present and that's going to take place in the future, so we better use present continuous tense. So it means that the timetable activities are shown, are used, are said or are expressed in present continuous tense. Okay, I hope you understood. For example, you see this, it says that I'm attending BBA class from tomorrow. سر صبح میگه ما صنف BBA را یعنی اقتصاد را Bachelor Business Administration را شروع میکنم. You see here it says that حال امروز شروع نمیکنم خو یعنی تصمیم حال گرفتم کار سر صبح یعنی سر فردا شروع میکنم. هر وقت که شما تصمیم گیری در حال کردین اما عمل سر از فردا یا سر از دیگه هفته شروع میشه، با این قسم عمل ها باید ما present continuous tense استعمال کنیم. So the students, suppose that you have planned for an action today and that's going to happen in the future. So whenever you are talking about an action which is going to happen in the future but you have already made a plan for that in the present, so now it's better to use present continuous tense with the future time expressions that express that action is going to happen tomorrow, but the action is arranged right now at the right now. Okay, the second example, they're playing cricket next week. You see this, it means the planning is already set here. The planning is what? The planning is already set here. For example, they are playing cricket next week. It's 100% it's going to take place, right, without any other incidents, you know, if Allah will. You know, it's like the action, it's decided today, it's decided in the present, but that's going to happen in the next week. So for such activities we use present continuous tense. Okay there students, good. Now let's move on. Usage number 4, it expresses a particular obstinate habit or persistence action that is not yet eliminated despite warning or advice, and this annoys the speaker. So in this case we use always, continually, constantly, forever, perpetually, repeatedly. So شاگردان عزیز اینها present continuous tense با ما استفاده میکنیم که یک عملی که یک سخت عادت باشه. ابستنت ما شما لجوج چه میگم، یک قلشق نمیگیم که بسیار زورآور باشه، با اصطلاح یک طرفش غلط نکرده باشم، یعنی سخت باشه، یک عادت بسیار سخت خراب باشه، right؟ یک عادت بسیار خراب باشه و یا یک عادتی که خوب نیست یا شاید یا خوب است دوامدار باشه، که در این حالت ما present continuous tense استفاده میکنیم. مثلا یک عادت است بسیار عادت خراب است، عادت ثابت است، با وجود از warning یعنی advice او تغییر نکرده است و این که از سپیکر را یه چی میکنه ارزیت میده. در این حالت ما present continuous tense استفاده میکنیم که این adverbs, right? Always, continually, constantly, forever, perfectually, repeatedly. Okay, اینها را استفاده میکنیم. Constantly means always means همیشه. Continually بطور جریان. Constantly بطور ثابت. Forever همیشه. Forever always یعنی یک قسم استفاده میشه. Perpetually ما میگیم که مسلسل. Perpetually, you know, perpetually ما شما میگیم که همیشگی، ابدی یا مدام یا مسلسل هم گفته میتونیم برشان، دائما گفته میتونیم، repeatedly تکرارا and so on. اینمی adverbs را استفاده میکنیم. Examples, for example we say they are always repeating the same mistake. مثلا میگه همیشه اونمو غلطی، عین غلطی را تکرار میکنن. مثلا حال same mistake تکرار میشه. در یکی سپیکر چی است؟ سپیکر اذیت شده است، آزار یعنی رنجیده است، شکایت میکنه. به طور شکایت ما این زمان را استفاده میکنیم. یعنی ساده میگیم که هر وقت که شما در مورد یک عمل صحبت میکنین که او عادت خراب باشه و سخنران از شکایت داشته باشه، به طور شکایت او جمله را باز در present continuous tense میگن. مثلا they are always repeating the same mistake. همیشه میگن می غلطی را تکرار کرده رایی هستن. So you see always همیشه اینجا مطلب است که از شکایت میکنه. He is repeatedly coming late to the class. ولی استاد از شاگردها شکایت میکنه که تکرارا به صرف ناوقت می آید. So هر وقت که شما like whenever you want to talk about an action which is happening right now, but that's an obstinate habit, that's a bad habit or persistent action that is despite the warning or advice is not eliminated, and this really disturbs or annoys the speaker. So it's better to use present continuous tense in this regard, right? So the other usage number 5 we have is it expresses changes, trends, development and progress. So it expresses میگه اینا با ما نشان میده changes، تغییر را. ترند که نظام یا ما شما میگیم که یک چیزی که مود باشه، مود مثلا روان باشه، قبلا یک چیز رو خود داشته مردم ولی یک چیز ترندش است، ترند رو نشان میده. development پیشرفت نشان میده. in progress و همچنان در عمل که چیزی پیشرفت شده باشه ما این زمان را استفاده میکنیم. For example, به طور ساده whenever you talk about the changes like changes in a person, changes in a room, you know, like gradually changes. We talk about the trends, like before one thing would come on and now test and feelings test and the looks change, appearances change. So that's also we say a trend. Development, before a person was weak and now he's developing. Before a country was underdeveloped, now it's developing. So we use this present continuous tense. And progress in action, for example, there's a little progress, a little moving ahead of something or a person. So in this case again we use present continuous tense. You see the examples, right? The world population is increasing day by day, so this is gradual. So whenever something is happening gradually, so we use present continuous tense. In the world population is increasing day by day. نفوس دنیا که روز به روز زیاد شده میره. یکی از تغییر است. تغییر چی است؟ تغییر تدریجی است. هر وقت که شما در مورد تغییر تدریجی صحبت میکنین شما باید present continuous tense استفاده کنین. So understood this, students? For example, my computer typing is improving. So this is a change, and here it's an improvement, development. Okay, my computer typing is improving. میگه تایپینگ کامپیوتر ما روز به روز بهتر شده روان است. So هر وقت که شما در مورد یک عمل یا صحبت میکنین که تغییر شده رایی است، ترند است، development میشه دیشان، شما باید present continuous tense را صحبت کنید. مثلا ما شما میگیم که روز به روز هوا سرد شده میره یا روز به روز هوا گرم شده میره. به خاطر این جملات باید ما present continuous tense استفاده کنیم. For example, we say the weather is getting colder day by day, or the weather is getting hotter day by day, or your English is improving day by day, or you are getting intelligent day by day. Right? So in هر وقت که شما در مورد تدریجی عمل صحبت میکنین, so it's always better to use present continuous tense. Okay, so usage number 6, it expresses a habitual action that takes place regularly, especially one which is new and temporary. این ما یک عمل نشان میده که habitual باشه، عادتاً عمل باشه. چی باشه؟ عادتاً عمل باشه که به عادی یعنی به طور مقرر واقع میشه و همچنان خصوصا نو باشه و دائما یعنی موقتی باشه. اگر habitual action باشه و دائمی باشه باید present continuous tense استفاده میکنیم. اگر habitual عادتی عمل باشه و او موقتی باشه باید ما present continuous tense استفاده کنیم. مثلا قبلا یک شخص بسیار آرام بود، در دو سه روزا میبینی که بسیار تو ناتی یعنی شوخ شده است. So you say that before you were a very simple or very calm person, but now you are getting naughty. You are getting naughty. You know, in the evening getting naughty. Present continuous tense. For example, you see example, you are smoking too much when your father isn't home. ببینین یه عادتش اصلا پدرش که خانه باشه سیگارت زیاد میکشه. اینجا ببینین یکی از عادتش شده است، اما عادتش چی وقت میشه؟ وقتی که پدرش نباشه. موقتی است، دائمی نیست. پدر خود دائمی در خانه نمیباشه، نه موقتا نمیباشه، بدون استثنا. We are swimming a lot when the weather is hard, very hard. میگه وقتی که زمانی که هوا خیلی گرم باشه ما زیاد چی میکنیم؟ yani swimming میکنیم. You know, so what do? We swim a lot whenever the weather is hard. It means that this is an action which is not happening every day, right? But an action which happens, what? An action which happens newly, or it's a habitual action, it's a developed recently, or we can call it's a temporary action. So in this, for these actions we use present continuous tense. Okay, dear students, now these are the like we studied 6 usages. The first usage استعمال اول بود. Okay, we'll come to that later on. I'll explain it at the end of the lecture. How to change how to change present continuous tense positive statements into a negative and interrogative sentences. These are all structures. At the beginning of the lecture I have explained it. Now you can also see it. Subject SMR, verb ing plus negative. This is positive one. Negative formal, subject SMR. You know, you can see it all. Just you can pause the video for yourself and write them all down. And I gave the examples for all of the structures at the beginning of the video. So now I hope you understood this part. Now let's move on to this one. So the students, if you have any question, suggestions, this is the end of the lecture. If you have any questions, suggestions, you are always welcome to ask. Put your question forward in your WhatsApp group. One thing that I'll give you as a homework is your tense. Find the definition of tense, Google the definition of tense, and then tell me. And if you have any problem, so you can ask me. We have studied the 6 usages of present continuous tense. The first use, an action which is happening at the moment of speaking. Second, an action which is happening around of the speaking, not at the moment of speaking. Third, it talks about the changes. Fourth, it talks about the general facts in which if I miss it, so sorry for that. Fourth, talks about an action which annoys the speaker. And sixth, talks about habitual action which is not permanent, which is temporary. I hope you understood, dear students. If you have any questions, suggestions, you are most welcome to ask me. Now your homework is try to make few examples for the tense that we studied today. So wish you all the best, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. Stay happy and smiley with your family members. Wish you all the best, good luck, and good data.